Finally, we got some game reveals, and a lot of them coming to PlayStation 5. But what are these games that are coming in the near future for this new console? Well, I'm taking a dip into all these games that Sony showed us over a week ago. And what better way to start the show with a very old game coming for next-gen consoles, GTA 5. This game has been out since the 360 and the PS3 era, and this game's still getting updates. And from what it looks like, GTA 6 is looking further away. All of you know about it, so there's not much I can mention. Next on the list is Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. This weirdly described standalone game from Insomniac Games is going to be using the same engine used in Marvel's Spider-Man in 2018. Now, taking control of Miles Morales, the next generation of Spider-Man can utilize the power of his webs for mobility and combat potential, as well as new added electricity and active camouflage. Given Insomniac's track record, shows us that this game is going to be another solid game, but can it live up to Spider-Man's praise from both fans and critics remains to be seen. I'm sure that Sony will later show a live stream of the game before it's released this holiday. Gran Turismo 7, one of the few games in the press conference that showed us the true game with the UI, the menu, and its gameplay. However, this game does not have an official release window at all, but from what it looks like of this game, it's going to be a solid entry for the Gran Turismo franchise. Wretched and Clank Rift Apart. Insomniac's second game that showed off Wretched and Clank Rift Apart, the second game for the Wretched and Clank reboot series. The tag team duo now has a whole universe falling apart as rifts appear out of nowhere and cause pure chaos everywhere. This gameplay demonstration showed us the real power of the PlayStation 5, as we saw near seamless transitions to new environments and gameplay mechanics, such as grappling to cracked rifts for quick movement. There were some added particles and high quality reflections, but were not perfect reflections, as when rifts appeared during the level, they did not show on the floor. With that being said, there's still not an official release date or release window at all for this game. What seems like this game is further away than what most of us would have hoped for. Project Atheia. This game is coming from Square Enix new studio Luminous Productions. Their only work so far was from the port of Final Fantasy 15 to Stadia, which is the best console ever. Not much else to say about this game or its studio's history since this game's first studio standalone production, and what they showed us in the trailer was well polished. Can't wait to get my hands on it later down the road. Project Atheia looks right up my alley. Stray. One of the oldest indie games in development back in October 2015. This game is soon finally coming out only to PlayStation 5 and Steam 2021. Stray is a third-person action platformer with a lone cat and a small drone named B12 who work together to find a way out of this hostile city filled with hostile creatures and lifeless inhabitants. This game holds some charm and mystique, interesting to say the least, at a first glance anyway. Hopefully this game doesn't get any more delays. Returnal. Here comes Returnal, Housemarque's next game to come out in the near future, which looks like a third-person bullet hell shooter with a roguelike premise. This game has a solid formula that it needs to be a game with lots of replay value. Housemarque's other project, Stormdivers, got sent back to the back burner. This game being a priority will be worth it. Sackboy, a big adventure. The next installment of the Little Big Planet franchise is coming up with the same charm and apparent gameplay experience this series is known for. Gamers are expecting the level editor, along with tons of couch co-op fun waiting to be had. Given their history with the series, this is definitely in the right hands for the job. But sadly again, not even an official release window for this game. Destruction AllStars. Studio Lucid's new game Destruction AllStars would appear to have left Twisted Metal franchise in the sidelines, as this game is now what's next for the Destruction Derby genre. Now players are able to impact the game even when their car has been terminated. Taking a few nods from games like Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege, where the player can have an impact on their team's success or failure given that the characters they choose. This niche genre can probably make a comeback now and popularity for those who want to cause pure chaos. But like many games shown from Sony, we don't got official news of when this game's coming up, but I certainly have my hopes up for this. Kena, A Bridge of Spirits. This independent team of dedicated animators has given upon themselves to work on their first game. This game is certainly treading into new grounds. The looks of this game are certainly breathtaking with its visuals alone, and the combat seems to also take some nuanced mechanics that reminds me of Pikmin in a way. Given this team's history of past animation projects, quality is definitely the priority, and it's really paid off for them. Well, in my opinion, this game's still the show for me. I want to see this game succeed, and what Sony has shown the last week and what games coming out later this year, I don't have much time to wait at all. Goodbye, Volcano High. Combining the setting of a high school and the end of the Jurassic era, this basically sets the picture for this narrative-focused game, with some added minigames along the way. The art style is certainly eye-catching to look at, how smooth and pristine it looks. But it's definitely not for me. However, for someone who wants a high school experience all over again, this is certainly the game for you. Oddworld Soulstorm. The upcoming remake for the second Oddworld game, made back in 1998, called Oddworld Abe's Exodus, now with additional content and a retelling of the game. This time the game will have layered 2D platforming, as the player has to use the resources he gets from the environment to deal with the opposing faction. The series is known for being pretty dark, and for what they show in the trailer, it's going to have some intense action. Sign me up. Ghostwire Tokyo. Tango's next game is definitely something to be interested in, as by the people who made both Evil Within games. However, that is not to say that this game is a horror game. Not at all. This game's setting for the game would generally give the vibes of a horror game. They claim to have taken the approach from Doom 2016 and its glory kill system. So this game will have a lot of action as you literally cast spells like a wizard. This game looks pretty darn nice already, with clean, detailed textures and animations in both the player's gestures and spirits that roam the streets of Tokyo. This game is the closest thing to being next gen, and it's definitely one to keep on your radar. Jet, the Far Shore. Taking some ideas from Interstellar, you have Jet, the Far Shore. It's a little vague about what you'll be doing in the game, but the focus seems to be exploration, investigations, and tough decision making. This game seems to be for those who want to relax and embrace the universe that a team of Super Brothers made, and I think it brings some good variety for this holiday season. Godfall. With Sony's first game they showed us for the PS5, they are quite confident this game will be the frontrunner for the new IP in this console release window. This game certainly seems promising though, with the focus on RPG hack and slash, but for what the trailer showed us, has lots of stutters, and this game is being really close to release. In all their gameplay showcases, there were a lot of instances where it dropped in frame rate. If you're going to play this game on PS5, be cautious of this one. Solar Ash. This game is following the similar art style from Hyper Light Drifter, their previous title, but taken away in a pixelated art style to now being a third-person action platformer. I see this game from being another success for Heart Machine, with its alluring trailer and cool environments. Would have been nice if we had more gameplay shown, so we can't wait to see what they show off more down the road. Hitman 3. As this game's coming on most platforms, this seems like the nicest title for consumers, as this game's progression is going to be carried over from Hitman 2 and bring an upgrade to the past levels of Hitman 1 and 2. So that's pretty neat. It's going to be interesting how this trilogy will wrap up to its conclusion of the sandbox stealth franchise. Astros Playroom. Pretty charming game to come for the PS5 at launch, that's for sure. But this game will show off what the PS5 is capable of. At least that's what Sony themselves are claiming anyway. Definitely intending to get deleted though, since the PS5 is really limited storage out of the box. Little Devil Inside. Another one of the longest indie games in development that Sony has shown in their livestream. It is actually pretty insane to where this game in less than a week ago they had to change the development for Windows, Mac, Linux, PS4, Xbox One, and the Wii U. Yeah, to say this game has been under development for a long time is an understatement. Now that Sony is giving them added pressure, maybe now we'll see this game get official release date sometime soon, within the next 2 years. This game has the third-person RPG survival mechanics and a semi-open world environment, from what a gameplay demonstration showed a few months back, but there is definitely some Dark Souls vibes I'm getting from what I feel from the actual gameplay footage. NBA 2K21. Literally the least surprising thing that they showed off for this next generation. It's going to be little to no surprise for this next entry for the basketball series, with an interactive story, roster updates, and a microtransaction nightmare. But that is to be expected in the sports games community at this point. Bug Snacks. One of the most unique games of the conference that really stood out, especially for those who are already hungry by the time they showed up. It definitely gives a Viva Pinata vibe, but the trailer ending shows us there might be more going on in this game. It's coming this holiday, but this game has enough charm to catch the attention of new fans, so I hope to hear how well this game ends up. Demon's Souls Remake. One of the most hyped games coming out of Sony's livestream, and it's definitely deserved given its impact on the gaming industry back in 2009. With its unique approach to its core gameplay that in its way created its own genre that led to the Dark Souls trilogy and a Soulsborne. However, with no scheduled release date window for this, there is no way of knowing when this game is actually coming out. But for sure, Demon's Souls is not for everybody. And be sure to hold your frustration as you die when you get it in your hands. Deathloop, an interesting first-person shooter from the team behind the Dishonored games. There's a lot of freedom to be had with this mayhem cycle. If you reflect on the moments you had trying to beat one level and failing over and over again, that is essentially what this game will be like. Whether this game will have a lot of replay value remains to be seen. From what it looks like, from what Cole can do, it seems pretty enjoyable for the most part. Resident Evil Village, a direct sequel from Resident Evil 7 a few years later in a remote village with horror creatures and eerie setting that fits pretty well for the series, working entirely for the next generation of consoles. Using the same systems in place from Resident Evil 2 and 3's remake. Expect to see more of Resident Evil Village in August. Until then, if you watch this trailer in the night, sleep with one eye tonight. Pragmata. Literally, very little can be said for this game, as it just has cinematics. Second worst waste of time for Sony's livestream, with NBA 2K21 being first. The only thing I get from this game is that it gives me vibes of Kojima's production Death Stranding. Not to go badmouth it or anything. Isn't much to take away from the trailer at all. We have a lot of questions, but we have to wait for our answers. Horizon Forbidden West. Sony's last game that they showed in the livestream, and it's largely just cinematics, unless some of the footage was actual gameplay. Would seriously be insane if that was true. But the game has an interesting premise with the toxic plants and traversing around the West Coast California. With this game having high praise and high success, there is no doubt in my mind that this game is going to have a lot of production value, and a lot of fans hoping to see being made in the near future. Overall, for an E3-ish showcase, it was pretty good for Sony. They finally put down a lot of information for their upcoming titles that are at least interesting, but not a lot that they showed was coming within the next year of June. So that is very disappointing. But for what it looks like, there's a lot to be ready for this holiday 2020. Now we gotta wait for Microsoft's first and second party showcase in July. But they have a lot of work to do if they're gonna be back on top for the next gen console wars. And quite frankly, I can't wait to see how this console war turns out now, when the real winner will always be PC players. This has been Adolfo, and I will see you around Chucklight Media. Go ahead, give the video a like, and subscribe for more upcoming content each week.
The games are ready. Are you?